when everything fell apart, the day I broke. It started with a silence I couldn't shake, not just the absence of noise, but a hollow emptiness that filled the room no matter where I went. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at the floor, feeling like I had nothing left to offer, not to my family, not to God, not even to myself. The joy I used to have when I worshiped, the peace I used to feel when I prayed, it all felt like a memory. I was surrounded by people but felt completely alone. It wasn't just one moment that broke me. It was the accumulation of hundreds of small heartbreaks, disappointments, rejections, and silent prayers that seemed unanswered. I kept going to church. I kept smiling. I kept saying I'm fine. But inside, I was crumbling. What do you do when your faith feels more like a weight than a wing? When the people you once leaned on no longer reach out? When every prayer feels like it's hitting the ceiling and coming back down in pieces? That was me. I was the faithful one, the servant, the encourager, the always here if you need me person. But no one seemed to notice that I was fading. That's the thing about church hurt. It doesn't always come from one big betrayal. Sometimes it's the slow erosion of feeling unseen, unheard, and unvalued. I remember crying out to God one night, "Why did you let this happen to me? I gave you everything. Why am I still broken?" And in the quiet that followed, I heard nothing. No voice, no answer, just silence. But that night marked something. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't a lightning bolt, but it was a turning. The beginning of a slow, almost imperceptible shift. God didn't shout, He whispered. And the whisper was this: I'm still here. Looking back, I realized that brokenness wasn't the end. It was the breaking open. Like a seed that has to split before life emerges. Like clay that has to be pressed before it's shaped. I didn't know it then, but that was the moment God began to turn my brokenness into something beautiful. And if you're there now, sitting in the dark, wondering if God has forgotten you, I need you to hear me. He hasn't. You are not abandoned. You are not too broken. Your story isn't over. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." That's where we begin. With brokenness, with honesty, with the courage to say, I'm not okay, because God doesn't meet us where we pretend to be. He meets us where we are. If this part of the story speaks to you, comment below with "God, I'm still here." I'll see you in part 2, where we begin to uncover how God starts writing beauty into broken stories. The slow unfolding when beauty begins to break through. Healing didn't come in a flash of light. There was no dramatic encounter or thunderous voice from heaven. What came instead was a quiet invitation to lean in, a nudge to keep showing up, a whisper that said, "Come back to me." And at first, I didn't trust it. I didn't trust myself. I certainly didn't trust people. But there was something in me that wanted to hope again. Not in church systems or people's approval, but in a God who never let go. I began by doing the small things. Opening my Bible, even when I didn't feel like it. Whispering prayers, even when I doubted they were heard. Sitting in worship, even when my heart didn't feel connected. I wasn't trying to perform. I was trying to breathe. I was trying to survive. And slowly, like sunlight creeping through the blinds after a long night, beauty began to break through. One moment at a time, God started stitching me back together. Not to make me who I used to be, but to transform me into someone new. I met people who saw me, not for what I could do, but for who I was. I heard sermons that felt like they were written just for me. I experienced moments in worship where tears flowed not from pain, but from awe. God was reintroducing himself to me, not as a distant deity, but as a loving father, a tender healer, a redeemer who specializes in taking broken things and making them beautiful. It wasn't instant, it wasn't easy, but it was real. And with every step, I felt a little more whole, a little more alive, a little more ready to believe that my story still mattered. Romans 8:28 became a lifeline. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That verse didn't mean my pain was good, but it meant God could use it for good. And that truth changed everything. Because when you believe God can use your brokenness, it doesn't define you anymore. It refines you. If you're in that place of slow unfolding, where healing feels far away, I want you to know that every small step matters. Every tear matters. Every whisper of faith is heard. God is not in a hurry, but he is never late. He is turning your ashes into beauty, even now. So don't give up. Don't stop hoping. Don't stop healing. Comment below if you're walking through this too. God, keep unfolding me. Part 3 is next, where we'll talk about the moment you start to see yourself through God's eyes. Not as broken, but as beloved. Seeing myself through God's eyes, from shattered to seen. There's a moment in every healing journey when something changes. Not externally, not in your job or finances or the way people treat you, but something shifts inside you. And for me, it was the moment I stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And started asking, God, what are you trying to show me? I had spent so long defining myself by my brokenness. I wore it like an identity, like a label I couldn't peel off. I thought maybe this is just who I am now, the hurt one, the abandoned one, the forgotten one. But God never called me by my wounds. He always called me by my name. It began in the quiet, when I would sit with a journal and write out everything I thought God might say to me, if he were still speaking. And to my surprise, what came out wasn't condemnation. It was comfort. Words like, you are still my child. You are not alone. Your wounds don't disqualify you, they deepen you. I remember reading Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, and thinking, how can that be true when I feel so messed up? But God doesn't create trash, he creates treasure. And masterpieces don't come from untouched marble. They come from chiseling, from process, from time. I wasn't ruined, I was being refined. Seeing myself through God's eyes didn't mean ignoring my pain. It meant recognizing that my pain wasn't the whole story. I began to look in the mirror and speak truth over myself. You are loved, you are chosen, you are enough. And at first, it felt fake, like I was pretending. But the more I aligned my words with God's word, something inside me began to change. My posture shifted. My prayers became bolder. I started dreaming again, not just surviving, but imagining a future. The most surprising part? I stopped resenting the pain. Not because I enjoyed it, but because I saw how God was using it. I could talk to others who were hurting and say, I've been there, and it meant something. I wasn't preaching from a pedestal. I was reaching from a place of understanding. God had turned my pain into empathy, my breakdown into a bridge. One afternoon, I was volunteering at a women's event, and a girl I'd never met came up to me and asked if she could talk. She shared her story, full of disappointment, trauma, and feeling invisible. I listened. I nodded. And when I told her, I understand, her eyes filled with tears. That's when it hit me. This was the beauty God had been building. Not perfection. Not a polished version of me. But a heart, that could hold space for someone else. A story that made someone else feel seen. That's the power of redemption. It's not just about healing you, it's about God using your healing to bring hope to others. Isaiah 61:3 promises that God will give us a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. That's not poetic language, it's a promise. And I was living proof. If you've ever looked at yourself and only seen failure, hear me, that's not how God sees you. You are not your mistakes, you are not your trauma, you are not what they said about you. You are a child of God, fully known, fully loved, fully seen. Comment below if you've ever struggled to believe this truth. God, help me see what you see. Part 4 is coming next, and we'll walk into what it means to live with purpose after pain. Living with purpose after pain, a new kind of strength. You don't walk through fire and come out the same. You come out marked, not just by the scars of what burned you, but by the resilience that rose from the ashes. That's how I felt stepping into this new chapter of my life. I wasn't trying to be who I used to be. That person was gone. What remained was someone more honest, more whole, and strangely, more free. I no longer needed to prove my worth. I wasn't performing for acceptance. I was living from a place of being already loved. Purpose after pain isn't loud. It's not always platformed or praised. Sometimes it's just being present. Showing up when you used to hide. Listening when someone else needs to vent. Hugging the one who feels forgotten. I used to think purpose meant big things. Stages, microphones, movements. But God showed me that the most powerful ministry often happens in the quiet. In the coffee shop conversation. In the late night phone call. In the smile that says, "You're not alone." One thing I've learned, when you've been through deep pain, you develop a deeper sensitivity. You can spot sorrow behind a smile. You can hear the heaviness in someone's "I'm fine." And because you've been there, you don't try to fix it with cliches, you just sit with them. Hold space. Speak life. That's what God did for me, and now I get to reflect that to others. I remember one morning I was walking into church and I saw a woman sitting alone in her car, crying. Normally I'd keep walking, assuming someone else would notice. But this time I knocked on her window. I asked if she wanted to talk. She didn't say much, but she didn't need to. She just needed someone to care. And that day I realized that my healing wasn't just for me. It was meant to overflow. Your purpose isn't on pause because of your pain. In fact, your pain may be the birthplace of your purpose. 2 Corinthians 1:4 says, "He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others." That verse isn't just about sympathy, it's about service. What you've walked through can become a lifeline for someone else. Purpose after pain also means trusting again, not blindly, not naively, but bravely. I started serving again, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I started praying out loud again, not for show, but because I believed again. I started dreaming again, not for control, but in surrender. Purpose doesn't erase your past, it redeems it. And if you're wondering if your pain has disqualified you, let me say this. Your pain may be the very thing that qualifies you. You've been in the valley, you've wrestled with doubt, you've learned to cling to God when everything else falls away. That kind of faith, that kind of strength, it's rare, it's powerful, it's beautiful. Living with purpose after pain is a daily choice. Some days you'll feel strong, other days you'll feel like you're starting over, but every step matters. Every choice to show up, to believe again, to love again, it all matters. Don't despise small beginnings. Don't underestimate your impact. God is still writing your story, and the chapters ahead are full of hope. If this part of your journey resonates with you, comment below. God, use my pain for purpose. And stay with me for part 5, our final chapter, where we'll celebrate what it means to walk fully redeemed, fully alive, and fully restored. Fully redeemed, walking in restoration and joy. You know you've stepped into redemption when peace no longer feels foreign. When you wake up and the first thing you feel isn't panic or dread, but a quiet calm. It's not that life has suddenly become easy. There are still bills, disappointments, misunderstandings, and uncertainties, but something has changed in you. There's a stillness where the storm used to be. There's a song rising where there used to be silence. And that, my friend, is the sound of being fully redeemed. I used to think redemption meant going back to the way things were. That maybe if I prayed enough, healed enough, grew enough, I'd become that girl again. The one who smiled without flinching, who trusted without questioning. But God didn't take me back. He took me forward. He didn't restore me to my old self. He made me new. And that newness didn't come overnight. It was birthed in the fire, forged in the tears, and sealed in every moment I chose to believe that God was still good, even when life wasn't. Redemption looks like walking through the same doors that once triggered your anxiety and feeling peace instead. It looks like sitting in a church service and actually feeling like you belong. It looks like forgiving the ones who hurt you, not to excuse them, but to free yourself. It looks like loving your story, even the chapters you never thought you'd survive. There's a passage in Joel 2:25 where God says, "I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten." I held on to that promise for years, wondering if it was even possible. Could God really restore what was lost? Could He really rewrite a story so broken? Now I can say yes, not because everything is perfect, but because even in imperfection, there's purpose. Even in weakness, there's wonder. I started noticing how I was smiling again, how laughter came quicker, easier, how worship didn't feel like a performance. It felt like a homecoming. I started dreaming again, not the kind of dreams rooted in fear or striving, but in trust. I began mentoring young women, telling them the truth about pain and healing, not from a place of having it all together, but from a place of saying, "Me too, I've been there, and look what God can do." Redemption is not a destination, it's a way of living. It's walking every day with open hands and a surrendered heart. It's trusting that even when life surprises you, God never will. It's knowing that the worst thing is never the final thing, that the cross wasn't the end, it was the beginning. And so is your healing. If you've walked with me through this journey, thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability, your courage, your faith. Your presence has mattered. And now, I want to leave you with this. Don't hide your scars. They are proof that you survived. Don't shrink your voice. Your story carries the power to set someone else free. Don't doubt your worth. God paid the highest price for you, not because you earned it, but because He loves you. Fully redeemed doesn't mean fully finished. God is still writing. But it does mean you are no longer defined by what broke you. You are defined by who healed you. So today, walk in joy. Not because life is easy, but because grace is real. Dance again. Sing again. Love again. Trust again. And if you ever forget who you are, come back to this moment, to this truth. You are seen. You are known. You are redeemed. If this story has spoken to you, leave a comment. I am redeemed. And if someone in your life needs hope, send them this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. There's more to come. More stories, more healing, more of God's goodness. Your story isn't over, and the best chapters may still be ahead. God turns brokenness into beauty, and friend, you are living proof.